Hey guys, I'm Kevin, and today we're going to be learning a bit about Microsoft Excel and logical functions, primarily if statements. Why should we learn this? Well, understanding logic in Excel will make our lives in Excel a lot easier down the road, as it's a vital concept to master. It's going to make using spreadsheets a lot easier in your career field and even help you out at school a lot. To get the most out of this video, you should already have a basic understanding of Excel and logic, but in case you're still a little new to everything, I will touch upon both of these topics briefly. I'll have a series of self-check assessments embedded, so please, if you can, try to pause the video and do them on your own before actually watching me solve them. This definitely help you guys out a lot if you complete this step properly. And at the end of this video, I hope you guys will feel pretty comfortable with logic in Excel and hopefully be able to create if and embedded if statements with ease. So without further ado, let's get started.
So here's a little overview of what we're going to be talking about. First up on the menu is a slight introduction to logic. Next, I'll be mentioning some Excel formulas and functions and their properties. And finally, we'll be going over Excel logic. So your first question might be, well, what exactly is logic? Logic is the study of how to evaluate arguments and reasoning. Essentially, if this, then that. So the basic concepts in logic, you have two conditions. Your first condition is usually P, and your second condition is Q. Don't ask me why, that's just how it's done. And then you have three arguments. The first one is OR, where either argument is true. Second one is AND, where both of the arguments or conditions are true. And then the last one is NOT, where you simply reverse everything. So let's go and take a look at this real quick. Here we have a logic truth table composed of a series of columns and rows. In our first column we have P, which is one of our variables, and the next one is Q, second variable. And instead of keeping the values true and false, I decided to use emoticons. So I'm sure we're all familiar with these. Happy and sad. And next to our P and Q columns we have P or Q, P and Q, and lastly P not Q. So let's go ahead and look at our first row where P is happy and Q is also happy. Now with our OR argument, we're going to return happy because either P or Q has to be happy. With our AND argument, we can see it's happy as well because to satisfy the argument, P and Q both have to be happy. And of course, lastly, when we have P equals Q, essentially P or happy equals happy, you also get happy as an outcome. Let's look at our second row where P is happy again, but now Q is sad. With our OR argument, again, we have to ensure that at least one of our conditions is going to be happy. So in this case, you are still going to be returning happy. With our AND argument, unfortunately that is not the case. Because both P and Q are going to have to be happy, you are now going to be sad. And when P equals Q, again, we can see that the outcome is sad because happy does not equal sad. In our third row, P is now sad, where Q is happy. So our argument is going to be returning happy because at least one of our conditions is happy. With our AND argument, similar to the cases last time, because both arguments are not happy, we're going to be sad. And then P does not equal Q again, so sad does not equal sad, or happy doesn't equal sad, so we're going to be sad. And now with our last row, we can see that both P and Q are sad, so our OR argument is going to be sad as well, because neither one of them are happy. Our AND argument, on the other side, will be happy because both arguments are the same. Both of us are sad, so we are happy. And with our P equals Q condition, we are going to see that again we're going to be turning happy due to the fact that both P and Q are the same, sad. Below I've attached a table that is a not truth table, so where everything is going to be reversed. So for our not P column and our not Q column, you can see that if we are not happy, then we are obviously sad. So our OR condition is going to be sad because neither one of our arguments are happy. And with our AND, you can again see that neither one of us are happy, so we're sad. And with our P equals Q section, again, same, we are not sad, we're not happy, so we're all very, very sad. Our second row, our P section is sad again, but now our Q section is happy. So in turn, our OR section will again be sad because we are not happy. And our AND section in turn will actually be happy because we are not sad. A little weird how this works, but you look at the table above, you essentially flip everything around. And then our P equals Q section, we're going to have the same thing happen where you would normally expect it to be sad and we are actually happy. Our third row, we have happy and sad. So our OR argument is going to be sad because we're not happy. And our AND argument is going to be happy because we are not sad. And again, our P and Q argument is reversed, so it is happy again. Our fourth row, both P and Q are happy, so our OR argument is actually going to return happy because we are not sad. With our AND, we see the same thing happen where both conditions are happy, but we are not happy, so we are sad. And therefore, our P equals Q section sees a similar effect where we are happy and happy, but we're not happy, so we must be sad. A little confusing, but if you use the table above as a little reference, it might be a little bit easier to understand. Next, we're going to be looking at Microsoft Excel. So within Excel, we have a few things we got to address first. You have formulas. What are formulas? Well, they all begin with an equal sign. They all have constants and include mathematical operators and cell references. So they look similar to what you're going to see right now, which is equals 6 asterisk 9, 6 times 9, equals C3 times 5, where C3 is referring to a specific cell. This is also known as cell referencing. And below that we have B2, again a specific cell divided by the number 4. And lastly we have equals A1, but you're going to multiply everything by 3 times 10. I'm simply playing with the mathematical operators. This can look a bunch of different ways, so these are simply examples. Next we have functions. So functions is similar that they begin with an equal sign, but instead of a bunch of constants, you're going to have function names. So sum, average, if, and that's going to be followed by an open parentheses, the argument, and then a closed parentheses. So one of our examples here is equals sum. You have your first number, your second number. You could also include specific cells or have a range of numbers. Now our average function is similar in that you start with an equal sign, function name, and then the arguments within the function. Again, this could be a number range, a cell range, or a bunch of different numbers. And then our last function we're looking at is max, equals max, open the parentheses, and here I actually listed a cell range is from C3 to C10. And then of course you close the parentheses. And lastly, we're going to be looking at if statements in Excel. So this is a function, and because it is a function, you're going to begin with an equal sign. Your function name is if. You open the parentheses. Now this is a little different. You're going to have your condition or your argument followed by a comma, and then you have the value that you want it to return if it's true, and the value you want it to return if it is false, and then you close the parentheses. So essentially what this is doing is you're examining your condition, and based on that it's going to be analyzed, and then it will return either the true or the false value. And lastly, I've attached a logical operators table for you guys. Of course, you're going to have greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, and then finally not equal to. So these are the symbols you're going to be using in Excel if you'd like to use any of these logical operators. So without further ado, let us get started on our video. I hope you guys will enjoy this. I've included a few short quizzes, so when I ask you to pause the video, please do so and complete the assignment. And yeah, I hope you guys will learn a lot. Hello and welcome to our second part of this instructional video on Excel logic. This is going to be our interactive practice So let's go and get right to it. We're going to be looking at two different functions, and then I'm going to be showing you some examples of our if statements. So our first function is the AND function. Again, we're going to be starting it with an equal sign, our function name, and we're going to be opening the parentheses and then including our conditions and closing the parentheses. And remember, all conditions have to be true. So let's go and look at our first example. Our superhero needs a driver's license, our first condition, and a car, our second condition, in order to be able to drive. So we have three superheroes. We have Batman, Superman, and Spider-Man. Batman has a license, so his first condition is true, and he also has a car, so his second condition is going to be true as well. Now, can he drive? Let's find out. To begin, start with an equal sign, and type in our function name, which is and open the parentheses. And now we can simply select our cell range from B14 to C14, and then close the parentheses. And what do you know? They can drive. So now let's go and look at Superman. So he does not have a license and does not have a car either. So we'll do the same thing, but we'll do it a slightly different way. So again, type and, open the parentheses. Now instead of dragging our cell range, you can also select cells. So we click on B15, followed by a comma and C15, and close your parentheses. Go ahead and hit enter. And that is false. So that is the correct outcome we were expecting. Now our last example, Spider-Man does have a license, but he does not have a car. Doesn't need a car. He swings around from building to building with his spider web. So what will it be for Spider-Man? Alright guys, well I'll let you try this one on your own. So you could either select the full cell range or simply click on the individual cells. But for you, it's quiz time. Now you guys could either follow along on paper, or if you would like, I will make this Excel spreadsheet available for download for you, and you can go ahead and download it and follow along as I do it. Alright guys, we'll be back in a minute. Alrighty, I'm sure you guys didn't have much trouble with that, so I'll go ahead and finish her off. And false. Perfect. Now again, just review. The first condition or first example is true because Batman has a license and a car. Superman has neither, so it's false because both conditions were not true. And Spider-Man is false as well because he only has a license, does not have a car. Now let's go ahead and look at our OR function. So again, we start it the same way, equals, function name OR, and then our conditions. Now in this case, only one condition has to be true in order for our argument to be true as well. So in this example, you need to stop a crime or be hungry in order to drive. So again, we have three different superheroes. We have Hulk, Captain America, and Wonder Woman. Now, I threw a little curveball at you this time. Again, you can see our Hulk is not stopping a crime, but he's hungry. So you don't have false or true in here anymore, so what do we do? Well, let me show you. So select D45, hit equals, and we're going to type in our function name, which is OR. Open the parentheses, and now select cell B45, but instead of just selecting our cell range, we need to do something else because it does not say true or false within our cell. So now we need to have cell B45 equal a string. So string is just words. So we hit equal, but in order for Excel to recognize a string of words, we need to have a quotation mark and then type in the exact string we want Excel to identify. In this case, it's just no. So went ahead and did that. Now hit the comma key, and we're going to have another string for cell C 45. Now this time our Hulk is hungry. Again, close the quotation marks, and now we can go ahead and close our parentheses, and let's see what happens. Okay, well, that's true. So, perfect, worked out. He's not stopping crime, but he is hungry. So as we can see, Hulk is not currently stopping a crime, but he is hungry, so he can't drive. Now in our second example, Captain America is currently fighting crime, but he's only kind of hungry. So that means, again, begin with the equal sign or, open the parentheses, select cell B46, and make sure the string is typed correctly as it appears, capitalized and everything, so you do not want yes or yes, you just need yes. And comma. Now our second condition, they have to be hungry, they can't be kind of hungry or not hungry. So cell C46 is going to have to say hungry, just as above. Close the parentheses and hit enter. Okay, so that is true as well because he's currently fighting crime. Even though he's only kind of hungry, he can still drive. Now, our last example, Wonder Woman is not fighting crime, nor is she hungry. So, I'll let you guys complete this one. Quiz time! Alright, so or this B47 has to be yes, and cell C47 has to be, whoops, hungry. Alright, false. So Wonder Woman is not fighting crime, nor is she hungry, so in turn she cannot drive. And lastly, let's take a look at some if statements. So, if statements are function as well. Begin with the equal sign, function name, which is if, and open the parentheses. Now, as we talked about earlier, you're going to have your condition, just your argument, and then it's going to analyze that condition. Based upon the condition, it's going to return a value if that condition is true. If it is not true, it's going to return the value if it is false. So, condition is computed and a true or false value is returned. So in our example, if I'm a superhero, which is our condition, then I can fight crime. True. That's the value I wanted to return if it's true. If I'm not, then unfortunately I cannot fight crime. So let's take a look at our two characters. We have good old Bob the Builder and Kent Clark, also known as Superman. So Bob here, he is our average Joe. So although we might already know the outcome of this, let's go ahead and practice anyways. Now, again, begin with your equal sign, function name, which is if, open the parentheses. Now your logical test over here is going to be your condition. So our condition is if Bob is a superhero, so cell B14, we want that to say yes. Now if he is a superhero, we want him to be able to fight crime. So our condition or our value if true is going to be yes as well. Now if he is not a superhero, then of course he cannot fight crime, so our value if that condition is false is going to be no. Let's close parentheses and see what happens. Alright, well, Bob can't fight crime, so I guess he'll just stick to building houses. Alright, quiz time. Now go ahead and complete Kent's superhero status and let me know if he can fight crime or not. Alright, well, I'm sure that wasn't too hard either, but what we're going to be showing you a little trick here. So I've kind of been keeping this from you because I wanted you to do it the hard way, but because we entered in our function here, we don't have to essentially retype everything. It's pretty easy. We can go ahead and click on the cell where we typed in our function, And then bottom right, got this little cursor change going on here to a skinny black plus from a big white one. If we click and drag that down, it's actually going to be autofilling for us. So what we got here, let's go ahead and open that up. So B15, you can see it's all referenced that instead of saying B14, B15. Again, our superhero status had to be yes, and if it's true, wanted to return yes. If not, then no. So that worked out for us as well. Alright, so let's look at our last example here. Now this is going to combine quite a few different concepts. If I am a superhero, then I can fight crime. If I am a villain, then I cause crime. If I am neither, then I am the victim. So 3 different arguments. This is where it gets a little confusing. We're going to have if statements within if statements. Alrighty, so Bruce, our superhero Batman, Joker is our villain, and again, Bob the Builder. Oh no, poor Bob. I wonder what the Joker will do to him. Alright, let's go ahead and evaluate this. Now, Bruce is obviously a superhero, but we want to make this a little bit easier on ourselves. So we want to be able to create this and autofill down. So let's start by equal if, opening up that function, and our logical test is going to be B47 is equal to superhero. Now if this returns true, we want it to say fighting crime. Fighting crime. Now if it is false, we want it to return something else. We want it, it's either going to be a villain or neither, so the value if false is going to be causing crime or being victimized. And we can't really write that out, so the only way to do this is to have another if statement. So another if statement, opening that up, and our cell B48 now has to say villain. Whoops, make sure you have those quotation marks. There we go. Now if that is false, if that is true, if the Joker is a villain, then we want it to say causing crime. Now that's false. That only leaves one option. So don't need another if statement. We just need it to return victim. Okay, this looks really confusing, but let's examine this. So B42, that cell says superhero. So if Bruce is a superhero, then our value if true is going to be he's fighting crime. If he's not a superhero, he's not fighting crime, so in our false value we wanted to evaluate something else, because if he's not a superhero, then he's either a villain or he's neither. So we begin this if statement with examining, you know what guys, this should actually be that same cell. Jumping the gun there a little bit, so good thing we checked this out before we hit enter. So now if he's not a superhero, obviously he is going to be a villain or neither. Now if he's a villain, then he is going to be causing crime. But that only leaves one more possible option. If he's not fighting crime or causing crime, well then he's the victim. So because that is our final outcome, we don't have to have a third if statement in here. So now that we have, oh, that's not what I wanted. There we go. now that we close these parentheses, or the parentheses for this if statement, you gotta make sure to close the very first one. So you begin with a black open parentheses, you have to end with one as well. Now let's go ahead and hit enter and see what happens. Oh, alright, cool. Well, looks like that worked out alright for us. You know what time it is? Quiz time! Okay guys, so go ahead and try this on your own. See if you can do it. Don't autofill down, please. Just make sure you try it on your own first. See if you get the same outcome. We'll rendezvous in a minute. Okay guys, I hope that wasn't too challenging for you, and I hope you also didn't just autofill down, because then you're just cheating yourself. So, I will go ahead and cheat though, because I can. And we're going to autofill down. Okay, so looks like our examples worked out alright. Joker is our villain, so he's causing crime. And poor Bob. He's not a superhero nor a villain, so he is the victim. I don't know if we'll ever see Bob again, to be honest. The things the Joker does. Rest in peace, Bob. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed my example. Hope you got a little humor out of it. I hope you're not feeling too sad about Bob. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment or review the video again. I hope this helped you guys in one way or another. I know there's different experience levels to be taken into consideration, but if it didn't teach you something brand new, I hope it was a good refresher. Either way guys, till next time.